It's good to be here in North Ryde. It's good to be here at AstraZeneca, Liz, and to Bill. Some $200 million invested, announced earlier this year in these facilities, which I think further goes to demonstrate the wonderful precinct we have up here, JA. Medical technology, it's one of the key sectors for Australia going forward. And we have great expertise, great skill, great reputation and ability to venture into markets from this platform here in Indo-Pacific and the Asia-Pacific. And so it's tremendous to be here partnering with AstraZeneca today. We're here today to announce that we've signed a letter of intent with AstraZeneca, which will enable to Australia to access, should it be successful, the vaccine for COVID-19 here in Australia, manufactured here in Australia, distributed free to 25 million Australians in the event that those trials prove successful. There are around 160 different vaccine projects around the world today. Some of those are well advanced, like the AstraZeneca proposal, and that they're turning up with the University of Oxford. Others are still on their way and looking good too, like in the University of Queensland. There are many others, and Professor Brendan Murphy is heading up an expert panel which is advising the government on the other programs and the other projects that we can take positions on to ensure that Australia is incredibly well placed to ensure that Australians can emerge quickly in the event that a vaccine is developed. This would have to be, as I'm sure Paul Kelly will tell you, who will speak after me, this would have to be one of the biggest worldwide efforts to find a vaccine that we've ever seen in a concentrated period of time. And that concentrated effort, it fills me with greater hope. And what we've been able to reach today to put Australia in the leading pack when it comes to vaccines being made available to our citizens also gives me hope. In Victoria and Melbourne at the moment, they're doing it the toughest of all. Businesses and people who've been laid off and having their livelihoods disrupted, and those who have lost loved ones, over 430 Australians. Also hoping that others won't fall victim to this terrible virus. And so the search for the vaccine is one thing, but its rapid deployment, should one be found, has also been a key focus of the government and will continue to be. At the same time, we will continue to do everything in every area of activity, working with our state and territory partners to ensure that we are combating this virus each and every day and keeping Australians as safe as we possibly can. To save lives and to save livelihoods has always been our approach. The next step in these arrangements is to see how those trials go, to complete the manufacturing agreements, and they are well advanced, and I feel very positive about those. And then to identify, as I said, other potential vaccine prospects that Australia can partner with. I also want to note that of all the issues I've discussed with Prime Ministers and Presidents around the world, the vaccine has been the most constant of those discussions. Of course, we talk about how we're dealing with the virus in our own country. Our testing, our tracing, our outbreak containment, swapping notes, sharing experiences. But the other discussion that happens in parallel is finding this vaccine and ensure we can mobilise to produce the vaccine. And so while what we're announcing here today is important for Australia, Australia will also play an important role in supporting our Pacific family. I've had those discussions with the Prime Ministers of Papua New Guinea and Fiji most recently. But also when I last spoke to President Widodo, this was also an important topic of discussion. We have a regional role to play here, as well as a domestic role to play here, and we will be living up to all of those responsibilities as we progress this day. But today is a day of hope, and Australia needs hope, the world needs hope when it comes to this coronavirus. And should we be in a position for the trials to be successful, we would hope that this would be made available early next year. If it can be done sooner than that, great. But we are very much in the hands of people wearing white coats, and there's plenty around here today, and they've been doing tremendous work, not just here, but all around the world. And we're putting our hope in their science, in their work, to ensure that they can bring these trials to a conclusion. The vaccine will need to satisfy all the same standards that all vaccines are expected to live up to here in Australia before they're made available to the public. There won't be any cutting corners, there won't be any undue haste here. There will be the appropriate controls and protections that are put in place. I'm advised that we'll need about a 95% vaccination rate across the country. Now, that is the normal target range for when you're having a vaccination program, and we'll be seeking to ensure that that is widely implemented with our partners around the country to ensure that should the vaccine be available, then we'll be able to move quickly, get it out across Australia, and that we can get Australia back to normal as quickly as we possibly can.